All right, so we're gonna call in our team. And just let anything that you don't need in this moment, let it fly away. Imagine it turns into flowers, butterflies, and hummingbirds. It's Tony, the Love Warrior, here at the Sanctuary in Evanston, and wow, there's so much going on. But I'm not gonna do a personal share in this moment. Yeah, I will. Actually, I'm gonna do a personal share in this moment. So it is almost Christmas, and I'm noticing that this year is looking different with the ages of my kids in terms of that context. I'm also noticing that I'm traveling a lot, and at least once a month for a few days, going into lead these workshops with the Human Awareness Institute. And this work has been, it's heart play. My friend Helen, hi Helen, coined a term. We coined a term today because Helen was saying that she likes to play spiritually, and we just play well together. And what do we mean by that? So we started calling it sage play, playing in the spiritual realm, kind of like a kink. And she was saying that kink is the definition of one of the defining terms of the many varieties of flavor of kink is that kink is about transmuting pain or sensation into pleasure, transmuting sensation into pleasure. And so, all right, is sage play a kink? That is the question today, kind people. Sage play would be the pleasure that comes from practicing higher wisdom. But does it transform pain into pleasure? I think it does. Sage play transforms existential pain into pleasure. When we find that connection, and that existential pain, as we look at it, can really is a practice of exploring vulnerability. And so we have a choice. We can sometimes abandon ourselves when we need to put on a brave face, when we feel like part of us is really afraid inside, or is really just trying our hardest. And if we look deep in there, we can see all the way back to that child version of ourselves that just wanted to please, that wanted wanted to be accepted as it grew older. And we do things sort of, there's expectations on us. And sometimes when we fail to meet those expectations, we can feel like we're just a failure. We're not enough. I think that's an existential pain point, is being not enough. And so the practice is to feel into what it is to be not enough, what it is to be enough. What does enough look like? And so here's where make that leap. There's where the risk is. It's not just talking about like, I'm vulnerable, my inner child. It's how do we care for that inner child and help it move along into adulthood. What does being enough look like? What does it look like in your life? To be enough is to have enough. So if there's a financial challenge, I'm noticing that the assistant on the phone wants to keep popping in. I need to figure out how to maybe deactivate that. Anyway, back to being enough. That one used to really get to me when I would feel into it. I still feel some tenderness from it, but it used to be that when I would get to that and I could touch that point of like somewhere in there I don't feel enough, I would start to choke up. And tears weren't far away. And I was like, well, I know this, but how can I just be enough? So what's occurring to me in this is that to be enough, it's like feeling into the pain, feeling into... See, Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha all said something in common. One thing that they said in common is to know thyself. And so knowing, Aristotle said it, a few other people. But to be enough, they said, well, okay, I'm sorry, backtrack, cut. They said, know thyself. And in knowing ourselves, that's how we can know others, because I know you. You're just like me. So if I know me, then I can potentially relate to you. There's no intimacy without vulnerability. Today I wish you the practice of knowing you are enough through assuring other people they are. So if there's an intimate place, there's a vulnerable place, if that ever resonates with you, like sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough, that means you have a gift. You can also see that resonate in others. And so the choice for your little one is, do I pick up a stone and grab a spear or a gun and like point it at that spot in that person just to be ready? Or can I be secure in myself enough to send a message that, yeah, you are enough, to that vulnerable, that fragile place in the other person? I invite you to practice this. Just see what happens. Practice it for a week. Practice it for a day. We are what we practice. That's what my friend Kurt Hill says. So let's practice message of being enough. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for spending this time. I'm gonna now, I think we're gonna do an affirmator card. Ooh, let's see, this one. From that space of generosity. The card is generosity. I give generously to those around me. No matter how much or how little I have, I know that there is more than enough to go around. And the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping the flow. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. Let's practice generosity. Let's practice being enough. I invite you to practice this sage play.